Guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. I'm just putting this out there for the sake of having an opinion, and I don't know, guys, I love fighting, so I like to put my prediction out there. So, Jake Paul versus Ben Askren as a boxing match. I believe they're fighting 8 3-minute rounds. If you would all care about boxing, stick around, guys, and let's definitely have a bit of a chat in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. As always, I just gotta remind you guys, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, guys. We are just past 2,000, and man, I appreciate you all so much. So let's get into it, guys. So Jake Paul has had 3 fights? 3 fights now, yeah. And not a single one of them was against a legit boxer. So we have him fighting Deji, who is a English YouTuber, KSI's brother, a lot of people know him as. Then he fought a guy named Anisan Gibb, who is another English YouTuber who, he was very hyped going into the fight, and everyone thought that he might beat Jake Paul, but there was such a size discrepancy, an obvious strength and power discrepancy, and honestly technique as well. It was easy to see that Anisan Gibb was not ready to be in that ring. And then last but not least, I mean, we all know it, Jake Paul turned Nate Robinson into an absolute meme and knocked him out cold on the canvas. And it was the second time he had put him, you know, face down on the canvas that fight. So in the great scheme of things, I feel like we have this picture made of Jake Paul, and he's really done a good job marketing himself and painting himself as a boxer, and he's kind of leaned into this role of villain. And I've definitely I listen to a lot of podcasts, mainly MMA podcasts, and a lot of people are really predicting that Jake Paul is just going to get absolutely destroyed. And a lot of people are basing that on Ben Askren's Olympic mentality and his champion mentality. There isn't any old person in this world, any regular person who could go for over a decade undefeated in MMA in multiple different promotions and be champion of multiple different promotions and be one of the best in the world. It just doesn't happen. So the main people who I listen to, if you want to check out any of their stuff, is True Jordy. He's an amazing YouTuber, amazing guy. I listen to Chael Sonnen, who is, I don't think, an amazing YouTuber or an amazing guy, but he's very entertaining and he knows the fight game unlike anyone else because he's been there first-hand experience. And then I also listen to Michael Bisping's podcast called Believe You Me. And last but not least, I listen to a former MMA fighter, Josh Thompson, and the consensus greatest referee of all time in MMA, Big John McCarthy. They have a podcast called Weighing In, and they talk a lot of fight too. So if you guys are interested in fights at all, check all of those out. Those are the ones that I listen to. I'm a big podcast guy. So let's get into what I really think about this. So I said briefly what I believe about Ben Askren and what other people are highlighting, that he has the Olympic mentality, that he has. I mean, one thing that he said in a lot of interviews is, I'm not a very good boxer, but I think Jake Paul is worse. So he says that he's well aware that he could not step in there with a boxer. And if Jake Paul is good at boxing, he has openly said, I will probably lose, which is an interesting thing to say, but I think he's just hedging his bets on the fact that he really believes Jake Paul isn't that good. Now, our job as fans is to really break down if that's true or not, if he is good or if he is able to compete. A big point that Chael Sonnen has been making is that that is the deciding factor, that it's not going to be a boxing match, it's going to be a competition, and that Ben Askren is a far superior competitor than Jake Paul, and he thinks that that is what is going to tip it Ben Askren's way. Now, obviously, guys, well, I was about to say that it's obvious that one is a better pick over the other, but I don't even know if that's true anymore, because Ben Askren has never boxed, and admittedly, his stand-up isn't that good. Everyone was kind of blown away by his recent stand-up videos that have been released of him, you know, hitting pads and hitting a heavy bag in Atlanta where they're fighting, but as a lot of people say, everyone is a champion on the pads. And I mean, myself, I look good as hell on a bag, guys, let me tell you. But so, guys, let's get to my actual prediction, because I'm sure that's what you all are actually here for. So first things first. If the fight ends in the first 2 rounds, I believe it will be Jake Paul winning the fight. If the fight ends after the first 2 rounds, I believe it will be Ben Askren. I think that a lot of people probably agree with me, and I might be taking the easy way out here, but I think that is genuinely it. We don't know anything until it happens. For example, I picked Izzy to win over Jan Blachowicz. Blachowicz? I don't know. Because Izzy had never lost in the UFC, so how can you pick against something that has never not worked? Which is the interesting thing about this Paul Askren fight, is we don't have any of that past to go off of, because Jake Paul has fought a couple of nobodies, and Ben Askren has never boxed and has never been a stand-up fighter. I feel weird saying it because I feel like whenever I call a fight, it just goes the opposite way, but I think that Ben Askren is going to win, and I think he's going to win by decision. I think he's going to close the distance. I think he's going to chase Jake Paul down for 8 rounds. I think he's going to stay up in his grill. I think he's going to headlock him. I think he's going to dirty box. I think he's going to do everything that he can to not stay at range and eat Jake's shots. Because the only time Ben Askren has ever been knocked out or rocked in MMA was catching Jorge Masvidal's flying knee to his chin, which, I mean, there is not a human being on this earth who I believe that would knock out. My final prediction is Ben Askren, as I said, by decision, after wearing Jake Paul out and just abusing him for 8 rounds, basically. That's gonna do it for today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I will be back with a rugby video tomorrow and a cricket video right after that. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!